I'm out here with my mini excavator about to do a very simple change or mod by switching this cylinder right here around the other direction. By turning the cylinder the other way, you're helping protect these connections and the hoses from getting snagged on anything you're moving. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that your boom and dipper is laid down flat. You have no pressure on that cylinder, because as soon as you undo the hoses on that cylinder, you're going to lose all holding pressure that's there, and if you have the boom or the dipper up in the air, it's just going to come falling down. So be safe, make sure you have it all the way down. I put the bucket and everything open so that way I knew when that pressure was gone, it was going to be nice and stable and not move around in the dirt. Don't have your bucket, on the tip or anything like that. Just try to make it as stable as possible, like it will hold its own weight and not have to worry about the cylinders holding it up. Very important here, because there's all kinds of issues you could run into if you don't have this supporting itself when you unhook that cylinder. So as you can see here, I've already got the hoses undone off the cylinder. Now I just need to take that bolt out, flip the cylinder, put the bolt back in, and get the hoses all nice and hooked up. So I took the nut off the bolt, and it doesn't want to push out easy, so I'm going to use this little pin that I have here to push that through the actual opening there. If you have the hoses unhooked, then there shouldn't be any pressure on the cylinder locking those into place. And as you can see, it came out pretty easy after I did that, and now it's time to just flip this cylinder around. So here is the cylinder hanging down, and it's going to be easy to move by hand. You can just grab it, spin it by hand, just like that, and then we're going to have to put the bolt back in it when we move it back up. I got the bolt back in and the hoses hooked up to the cylinder. Make sure you hook them up in the right connections or it's going to work backwards. Now we need to check the clearance to make sure that these connections don't hit the boom. To check clearance, I cranked it up, and now I'm moving this up. I'm going to move it up slowly because I don't want to find out the hard way that I don't have enough clearance. So I keep inching it up to see how close those are going to get to the boom. And it's pretty close already, and it's not all the way back, so I'm going to try to go all the way back and see, and there it is. And as you can see, it actually did barely touch the boom. It is just barely touching on one connection. This connection here is touching the boom, so I'm going to need to slightly bend that, but I do have enough clearance luckily up here on top where it shouldn't cause a problem with that. The other side has, good enough clearance. I'd rather have more, but it's good enough to not hit. So as you can see here, there's a little bit of gap now, and what I did is I used this small pry bar to slowly and gently work my way up that cylinder to bend this from the connection, just so I can put a nice little bend there. You do not want to go at this very hard, or you're going to bend and crimp that cylinder hose there, and that's going to be a problem. So you just slightly work it, and I just did it in this position, and it bent with no problem. But again, be super careful with that. But that's it. Let's turn the other way. You've got a lot more protection having those in the back right here than you would be having them sticking out in the front and just open to be snagged and grabbed by anything you're moving around. I hope that was helpful and gave you some ideas. Y'all take care.